Hey there, welcome to the first dev blog for Zokya Media Games. I'm Brian Weiss and I am the developer.
I'm Mary Weiss, and I'm the producer, or I just like to tell Brian what to do every day.
Well, I do need someone to keep me in line when it comes to these things. So, this is our first dev blog. This is actually for version 0.3, which is an alpha version of our Calories for the Colony game, which is the first video game that I've worked on in a long time, and actually probably the most serious I've actually worked on a project here for a long time. So yeah, I mean, let's get right into it. Calories for the Colony, and now that's a working title. I'm probably going to change it to something else. Calories for the Colony is a skill-based physics game where you attempt to knock over towers with a marble to try to feed ants well, calories. In this case, we have sugar cubes. Again, this is in very early stages, so don't expect, something crazy or amazing here. But I am pretty proud of what we have accomplished so far, and hopefully we can actually take this game to an actual release. And if you're listening and watching this, thank you so much. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, Zokya_media, and of course you can actually take a look at the recent progress on this game at cftc.zokyamedia.com. So one thing I wanted to mention is it was important to me with this game. The whole idea behind it was that I wanted to play this physics-based game with people in a multiplayer setting. Now I'm used to playing games like this in couch co-op, but because of the recent COVID epidemic, I decided, hey, why don't we do an online multiplayer portion of this? We'll demonstrate that in a little bit. That was where I started with this game, making sure that I had the server, which is done in JavaScript with an engine called Calisys. Uh, I wanted to make sure that that was in place so that the architecture of the game could actually support multiplayer. After showing it to a few people, a few friends and family, they said that they would like to play a single player mode. Which makes sense. So there you can see on the screen we have challenges. That's one of the things that we just recently added. So why don't we actually just dig in and take a look at it? So right now we have three different levels. They're pretty simple right now, and I'm probably going to go back and change these, but it's something just to get started and get an idea of the game. This first level here is meant to kind of instruct the player on some of the parts of the game. As you can see, I moved the camera around. That's done with the WASD keys. So I'm going to have a feature request to make that move with the mouse. I'm able to point my cursor at the blocks, and you press it, and it kind of pulls back. And when you release, boom, there you go, one shot. So yeah, that first level is meant to be done in one shot. Of course, the first time you play, you might not be able to pull that off, but we're going to have a star system in place. So you get 3 stars if you can do it in one shot, 2 stars if it takes you, I don't know, 2 to 4. We're going to work that out. As you can see that part's empty up here. So Mary, what are some of the things that went into this release over the previous release?
So, one thing I actually want you to describe to our fans out there is
Fans, I don't know about that.
is probably you talked about why calories for the colony came to be, but I noticed on here there is a marble. Can you explain to us kind of where that came from?
So Mary and I had a pet that was very near and dear to us, a white cat, and her name was Marbles. She was named that way. Well, one of the reasons she was named that way is because we joked that she had lost all of her marbles, and we shortened that down to Marbles. But another good reason for it is she had a black stripe on her head that kind of resembled the cat's eye from a marble. So I wanted to kind of do something in her memory for this game, and hence the marble. Now, part of the concept of the game is that, and we haven't fully worked this out yet, it's still early development. The part of the concept might be that you are actually a colony of ants that have built some sort of catapult to try to knock over these sugar cubes. You might go with something like a picnic theme, which might be kind of fun. We can do all sorts of stuff off of that. But yeah, so as you can see, there's the marble. That's one of the things I actually worked on this past sprint, as it's called, is getting that glass to look just right. I still need an effect when that disappears. Um,
Ex-
Yeah, so I don't want to go too long on this here, but we can show what the second level looks like.
And how many levels are there right now?
There's 3 single-player levels and 1 multiplayer level, which is the same as level 02. I need to change those thumbnails. But here you can see I might change the order of these levels around. This one's meant to be able to be done in 2 shots if you're good at what you do. You can see I can probably get these here. Boom. There you go. So there's 2. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention that I worked on this past week was actually getting the volume mute functionality in. We didn't have that at first. It was kind of annoying, especially when testing, hearing multiple, because especially when you're playing testing with multiple games open on the same device, it got a little bit noisy. So one thing that I was mentioning before is that I want this game to be a really quick kind of pick up and play, sort of like a mobile game. And in fact, that's one of the targets or one of the platforms we're targeting is mobile. I want to release this on Android and iOS, something that you can just, take out while you're waiting at the dentist office or something like that. Throw a couple balls around, not take very long. Um, but the multiplayer thing is something fun that you could also play. I want that to work through PC and through mobile, and I'll demonstrate that here now. I've actually already opened up the server. I can show this. It might be kind of interesting. Maybe I'll throw this up in the corner. Ooh. Get to see how the sausage is made, the raw code there. All right. So if I log in as Brian here, Mary here. Now these represent 2 different clients, 2 different players. As you can see, this says waiting for a host. The first person to join is the host. Now you're going to notice something interesting here, and it's going to show a little bit of how some of the challenges I had to face when doing the multiplayer aspect. Obviously, they entered at different times, and because of that, their cameras are in different locations. You notice that the Brian player over here is behind the structure. Over here, you're kind of in front. Now what's going to happen, this is something that I might need a feature request over here, maybe have Mary, my producer, write down. Right now it's just going to snap really quick over on the other person's machine. You'll see that as soon as I hit start game, and what it's doing is synchronizing that camera location. So whoop. Happens pretty quick, so you might not even notice it. But then, even though I'm controlling just through this one game here, it's moving it on for both players. Now this person wouldn't be able to do anything. Their cursor is green. We have a bug request out there to make it so that this cursor shows up over there. So you can see you can take a shot here, and it translates it across the server over here. Which is pretty neat. And he goes and takes turns. Alright, so yeah, that's about it for alpha version 0.3. Next I'm going to be working on 0.4. Mary, can you tell us what sort of things I'll be working on for that version?
Sure thing. So for version point 0.4, we actually are looking at a couple of bugs that we need to fix, as well as a few different features like exploding scores, in the actual main button area, when you're in the middle of playing a game, actually being able to exit out to the main menu versus exit out of just that specific game and going to, let's say, another level.
Right.
Um, the other thing is
Lots of
also,
UI stuff to do. That's one thing, and I do UI development for my day job, and I'm so spoiled by like HTML and Angular and all that sort of web stuff. In games, there's a lot of stuff you kind of have to roll your own that I'm not used to doing. So it's like, oh, I got another menu I got to put in. It's just such a hassle.
it can be. The other thing, because we did have some of our friends and family try this, is that the improved shot indicator UI on the
Ah,
right hand
yes.
side, that is a really big thing that we definitely want to address.
So that thing right
Um,
there in the right hand corner, you can see it actually. So I made that for when the game wasn't in 4K. So,
And I tried that, and I can tell you it was not great.
well, we'll get it fixed. But yeah, if you have you know, any feedback on the game or anything you want to tell us about it, again, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We're Zokya_media there. Mary has opened up our Facebook page, which right now has one like for me. Hopefully, you can go on there and like it. We're hoping to release a video like this, every 2 weeks or something like that, talk about some of the new features we're doing. And this is really a flexible project. So if you have some ideas or something you want to try, let us know. Also, one thing that would be really helpful for me is if you do want to try this game out, again, that's cftc.zokyamedia.com. You can play it right on your desktop. So one thing that would help us out quite a bit, actually, if you have some spare time, you want to try this out, get in on the ground floor on this alpha game and get to see all the fun things that are changing. What we need is to know how many tries it takes for each of the levels so that we can actually start setting, okay, what is good for the best you can do, 3 stars, what's a medium, and what's a poor thing, so for 1 star. So for that, all we really need you to do is come to the challenges, try these out, see how many balls are thrown here before you get all the sugar cubes knocked over, and then let us know what that is. That way it'll help us set those numbers a little bit better. Anything else for you, Mary?
No, I think you actually covered everything for this first little blog.
Awesome. Well, this is exciting. Look for us in 2 weeks. Again, interact with us on social media, Facebook, all that good stuff. And stay tuned. Thank you for watching.
Thank you and have a great day.